Hello everybody, welcome back to the Indian Captains. I'm Shoaib and today we're going to be talking about how to choose a flight school abroad. And when I say how to choose a flight school abroad, I'm basically saying which country do you need to look for your flight training. Indians have an option to either do the training in India or abroad, right? So given the scarcity of flight schools, flight instructors and the aircraft fleet in most of the Indian flight schools, most of them opt to do their flight training abroad. So, if you've seen our last video where we discussed how to choose a flight school in India, we're going to use the similar pointers to, draw a comparison as to which country gives you a better hand in terms of getting your commercial pilot license. So, just stay tuned. This video will be able to cover most of the countries that we think the Indians look for their flight training. So the number one country that most of them have done the training or most of them look to do the training is the United States of America. The United States of America Authority is the Federal Aviation Administration, which is the FAA. So why do people prefer the FAA? Indian students usually want to finish the training quite fast. Most of them finish off the papers and then look at completing their flight training, which in United States of America, most likely if you're in the states such as Florida, where you can do your flight training somewhere around 7 months to 12 months, which is a good span of time to get your commercial pilot license. So the factors that actually help to complete your training faster there is, again, the fleet size in every school is massive. Instructors are aplenty. The exams are quite limited, not too much of theory exams, but the flight checks are there. I mean, the procedures are followed. The fourth important and the most important reason is the weather. The weather there most likely is amazing for your initial flight training. So most of them opt to do the flight training in United States, which is usually in the state of Florida. Coming to the package, it really doesn't matter because most of most of the flight schools are somewhere around 30 to 40 lakhs for their CPL. The second country that most of them prefer as Indians is New Zealand. So when I say the New Zealand, the Civil Aviation Authority in New Zealand, the rules are more or less very similar to the Indian DGCA CPL requirements. When I say that, they do have a 200 hours flying time requirement and 100 hours PIC requirement, but there are certain cons as well. But approximately their course takes close to 12 to 14 months, which is not bad if you actually see. But their theory papers considerably are tough, and they have close to 6 to 12 papers to complete before they even get their CPL license and their flight check. So it's quite challenging there. Weather is on and off because they do have a lot of tough winter season, which gets a little difficult to fly. Otherwise, New Zealand is a preferred option. Another important thing there is the RT license that you get in New Zealand is convertible to the Indian RTR, so that's another big plus. Let's move on to the third country, which is Canada. Canada is more or less similar to what the FAA has or the regulations they follow, and the requirements are more or less similar, and also the number of subjects that they are writing or they have to complete is quite less, similar to the FAA. But the biggest problem why Canada can be a hindrance to your training is the weather, because most of the time it gets snowing, and close to 4-5 months you might have tough time to fly as a student pilot, so that gets a little bit of a problem. But on the other hand, you also have the RTR license, which gets endorsed, so it eases the pressure of getting an RT license. Most of the FAA students post completion of the CPL move to Canada, get their Canadian license and RTR, and then return to India for the conversion. So that can be another option if you are looking to get your US license. South Africa. So South Africa is a country where most of them, why do they prefer it, is because of the cost factor. The cost factor is very minimalist. So when I'm talking about very reasonable, that's somewhere around 20 to 25 lakhs, and the course duration is around 12 to 16 months, again depending upon students' ability. So people who want to have an affordable commercial pilot license training can opt to doing it in South Africa, because more or less if you're looking at the government flight schools in India, they charge you this similar amount, right? So South Africa has its ups there, and it also has an up with respect to the RTR license. but the theory subjects are considerably tough and lengthy, so you need to complete them before you even get your commercial pilot license. The last country that most of the Indians prefer is Australia. Australia is another country which has a similar requirement as per the Indian regulations, even with respect to the RTR. So current scenario with a lot of cadet pilot programs coming up, most of the airlines have their flight school tie-ups with either United States of America, Canada, New Zealand, or Australia. So these are the most sought after countries for your flight training. So this is a complete picture as to how you can choose a particular flight school in the respective countries. And moving forward, this is just going to give you a better picture before you just jump into any flight school. So look at the pros and cons. I've given you all the details with each country. Remember, with respect to any country you do your license, you have to come back to India to convert your license. So better if you can get all your requirements covered in your foreign country, which will help in facilitating to get your license in India quite fast. So keep that in mind before you go forward. Also remember the last video where we discussed all the pointers for the flight schools in India. Keep that in mind before you even choose a flight school abroad as well. I hope this video has given you a quick insight as to how you need to decide which country is suited for you. So make sure you do not get carried away with people suggesting do this, do that. See what works for you and take up the step. I hope these videos over our channel have made it a little bit helpful for you to take your career forward. If at all you like this video, please leave a like down, and if you have come this far, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get our notifications, and I hope that we can make more innovative and fun videos for you to fast track your course and get your CPL license. Until then, please take care, stay safe, goodbye.